And I want to turn it over right away to our Superintendent, Sean Parkhurst. And I just want to thank Sean, his staff, the teachers, and the parents, and especially our students. Because what we've proven over the last year, as difficult as this has been, is we have proven that policy, one single policy doesn't cut it. You have to, every day is a new day. Every day presents a new challenge, and our staff has shown that every day you come in and you say, what are the challenges that we're going to meet today, and how do we adapt to meet them to best educate our students? And Sean and his staff, our Board of Education, they've done an incredible job doing that. So I'd like to turn it over to Sean at this time, and thank you all for being here.
Thank you and good morning. So as First Selectman Kervick said, welcome to Windsor Locks. My remarks will be brief because I think there are a lot of more important people that you need to hear from today. But primarily I want to thank our students because they have been the passion that has helped us as educators get through every single day. At our convocation to start the year, I said to every staff member, this is a year to ride the wave. And if there ever was a year to ride the wave, we certainly have demonstrated that here in Windsor Locks. It's kind of been our motto, our theme for the year. And what you witnessed today here at the high school is just a snippet of what happens throughout our entire district. The mitigation strategies that are in place, the incredible work that our teachers do every single day to juggle remote learners as well as in-person learners, to support our students and our families through any difficulty they may be going through. It's because of the incredible team. But I couldn't do the work I do without the dedication and support of our Board of Education. From our 3 members that are here today, but our entire 5-member Board of Education being critical to the success, guiding the work that we do. One of the things that I pride our district on is about a year ago, believe it or not, as soon as we closed down, we actually were starting to plan for reopening. And some of you have heard me talk about our district reopening steering committee, which had membership from our administrators, our teachers, our students, as well as our nursing staff, our Board of Education members, and we also purposely included a member of our local health department that helped guided the way for our reopening plan. That reopening plan has been tweaked, or we've ridden the wave of our reopening plan as things have changed, situations have changed. But I'm proud to say our students are in person. They have been from the get-go. We do have some remote learners for a variety of reasons, but those numbers are dwindling. And just last week, I sent out a communication to our families encouraging them, if they haven't thought about a transition plan to transition their remote learner back to school this school year, please, please, please try to do that now. The difficulty that lies ahead, we know it's there. It gets, the longer you're away, the harder it gets. So I encourage our families that are out there, if your child is remote, work with our guidance staff, work with our school staff to make sure that you have a transition plan to get back in person. Some of our student tours today have witnessed that themselves firsthand and spoke directly to our governor and our interim commissioner about that. So kudos, welcome to all of you here. I couldn't be more proud to welcome you to Windsor Locks in the incredible work that you saw here today, but I could take you to every one of our schools and you would see the same mitigation strategies, the same incredible work of our students and staff happening every single day. So with that, I do want to introduce our high school principal, Miss Aldred, and a couple things I want to say about her. She has kind of had the perfect storm. So I don't know anyone that will probably go through what she has gone through this year. She is a brand new administrator to our district and to our building. She also had a NEASC accreditation visit that just occurred last week virtually. So add that on top of it, add the pandemic. And in the midst, I think this speaks directly to her character and her leadership. In the middle of the NEASC accreditation visit, she had a personal situation where she said, let's muster through. I'll deal with that after the accreditation visit. So her commitment to the town, to our students, to our community goes, it certainly does not go unnoticed. So I want to publicly thank you. And I think it's important for our governor and our interim commissioner to know the fine work that you're doing leading the high school. So Becca, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you. First, I have to say, I thought you were kind of joking yesterday when you said the governor and commissioner would be here today, but I just wanted to welcome you to the Locks. We are so grateful that you took time out of your day to be here and see the amazing work that our teachers and students are doing here every day. So welcome. I'll keep it short and sweet. Hand it back to you.
At this time, I do want to ask two of our teaching staff to come and talk about what it's been like for them, to also speak to the importance of the vaccine process. We have gone through one clinic. I know our nurse supervisor here as well, so I'll call all three of them forward. Barb, Matt, and Lisa, if you could kind of just talk briefly about your experiences and on behalf of the teaching staff and the nursing staff from a health perspective.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
I'm Barb Nishalek. This is Matt Siegel, and it has been a crazy year this year. I don't think after 22 years of teaching that I would ever think we'd be in a situation like this, but it's the fact that our administration and the Board of Ed has allowed flexibility in the school system for us. One model doesn't fit all. You can't compare every single district to one another. You can't compare an elementary to a high school. And we have had the flexibility to create what works best here. And that's what has allowed us to thrive and succeed, and our children, our students, to succeed in this model right now.
You're never prepared for anything like this. It's really, taken place over the last year, just such a global event. But, like Barb was just saying, we have worked so hard the last 7-10 years to really transition to where we are today. Without knowing we had to be ready for something, we were ready for it, and we were ready to make that change and to really meet the needs of our students. No matter where they are, and no matter how they come to us, we were ready for it.
And part of it was the fact that the students were so mature in their behavior with all the new rules and regulations. They know what to do, they respect the environment, they understand how serious of a situation this is, and they are just absolutely model. And the fact that we were given all the tools that we needed, once again, from our district and from the state, because it goes top down, it wouldn't have happened without that. And now that the teachers in the state are starting to get the vaccine, there's a new openness, there's a new light to us. We're seeing more students in the building, and we're here to be in person with students. Right. That is why we're here, and thanks to getting the vaccine now and having it all rolled out, we're able to do that with a new confidence that we didn't necessarily have before.
Yeah, I think, once I got my first shot, a lot of people said, how do you feel? Is it different? And it's weird because it's kind of like, no, it doesn't feel that different. But you know what, it does. After I kind of had a little bit of time to think about it, the gratitude I had for everyone, the superintendent to the governor, that kind of made it possible for us to have those types of supports to make sure that we're safe in the classroom, and including getting vaccinated was, it's just a high level of gratitude, and we really appreciate that. And it just takes a weight off. I mean, we're all parts of families. We all have our own situations at home, and just to have that little piece of baggage just to kind of calm down a little bit, it's really impacted me. It's impacted my family, and it's going to impact my students as well.
Absolutely.
So we had our first vaccine clinic here last week, and right here in this beautiful gym, we had over 416 people come through here to get their first vaccination. They will be coming back again April 1st, and to talk about how the teachers felt through all of that. It was like a huge weight was lifted off of them to see the difference in their teaching styles, their feelings, the way that they just were reinvigorated into their teaching styles. It really gave them a new sense of compassion and dedication to the classrooms. I think that going after the second shot, the travel restrictions, people are starting to feel a sense of normalcy again, and the one size fits all definitely didn't fit in our model here. So the nursing department did a lot of work in education with the teachers, the families, to really try and make sure that we were meeting the needs of the community. Every family has different circumstances, and really self-awareness on how our reactions are different and how they are going to be perceived by the people that we're serving. So it was really important for us to try and make everyone as comfortable as possible to be here, and the nursing staff was able to do that through that education and support. The reactions of everyone through this pandemic, including the students and their families, has been across the board. These students I've had since they were little, so I didn't have any fear or doubt in the capabilities of the students being able to persevere through this pandemic. I knew that they would be able to do the right things. It was, us adults that were scared and unsure, and we were trying to protect the students who were more than capable of handling this, but helping them along the way as well. I think now that the entire world is starting to feel a little bit of relief, we can see that. Windsor Locks, I think, has done a great job through the entire pandemic, from the teaching staff, our facilities. You guys walked the buildings, you saw how beautiful they looked. The cleaning has been important, and the teamwork within every department has been, the key to our success here. And, thank you, Governor, for the extra funds and supplies and everything. And everything has been much better than we could have anticipated.
Thank you. And as you've heard, it's taken a team effort, but I want to now introduce our Interim Commissioner of Education, Charlene Russell-Tucker. When you talk about riding the wave, her leadership alongside Dr. Cardona for most of the year has been simply riding the wave. I know they're riding the wave in Windsor Locks, but think about it at the state level. So I want to publicly thank you for your partnership, your weekly conversations about what is the latest and what do we need to be thinking about, being the forefront of that. And Connecticut is leading because of your lead. So thank you to Dr. Cardona and you. And now I'll turn it over to you for a few comments.
Thank you very much, and good morning. And it truly is riding the waves. And it's so important. I am so thankful for the governor to be here. But this is really where it's at, to be able to come and see kind of the end result of all the planning. And I can tell you, the weekends, the nights, and one of the benefits, I believe, of the pandemic in state government is the ability to work together. Under the governor's leadership, I can tell you, when you pull the screen back, the Department of Public Health, the Office of Early Childhood, the Office of the Governor working together. It's great to hear about the vaccines, the shot in the arm that our educators needed, our school staff needed. And that took weekends of trying to make connections between the school district and the vaccine providers. So it's so great to be here today to hear that this has really truly happened. So I am so thankful. I see our students, and I get so excited to see them together. We recognize so important it is to think about the social emotional well-being of our students. We know the impact of the social isolation. You can see how excited they are that they're here in a learning space together. So we're so thankful for all the hard work of our superintendents, our administrators, all our teachers, all our school staff, our food service workers, our nurses, because it takes everybody working together in order to be able to have an environment that is safe for students to come back to. So we're grateful to be able to work at the state level to support all of you, to support our students and our families in this space. So thank you very much, and thank you, Governor, for all your leadership. We want our students all back in school. We're really pleased and very proud that in Connecticut we have so many of our districts offering some level of in-person learning, which we know is really critically important. So thank you for being here, and we thank the press. We thank you for being able to share the word and the information so that our families know that they should start thinking about it, if not yet, that our students should be back in school with their educators. Thank you very much. Thank you, Governor, and thank you, Sean.
And before we close out, I do want to publicly thank our students today. Ryan, Justin, Abby, and Sonia, you were amazing as always, leading the way, kind of sharing the passion of what it's like for you to be a learner, what you've gone through this year, both as a junior and a senior. I know we have a mixed group, but thank you. I feed off of your passion, as I've said many times, every single day. When you're not here, I have to find that passion somewhere else. So thank you for being here in person and your commitment to the town and to all of your fellow students as well. At this time, I do want to thank Governor Lamont for, and I know you've heard this before, but the work that you saw happening in our high school is a direct effort of the funds that you have provided. The mitigation strategies, the shields, the amplification, the technology resources. We are proud that every one of our students has a Chromebook in their hands. Our staff has updated technology. They have application software to do the things that you saw in our classrooms. We are really priding ourselves on providing that equity for all of our students. So thank you. I will turn it over to you for some closing comments before we turn it over for media Q&A. So Governor Lamont, thank you.
All right, well, good morning, everybody. And I heard the analogies, the perfect storm, riding the wave. And if you're going to go through a perfect storm, you want to be on the ship, a tall ship. And Chris, Windsor Locks is doing it right. You always do it right. And I was really proud to see the pride the students took in doing it right here. I mean, we walked class to class. I saw how seriously people took the protocols. I saw how careful you were about cleaning. What I really loved, Abby was going on FaceTime and talking to a few of the kids who were still at home, and who was that? And you know, saying, and you're saying, come on back. We got 3 more months left in this school year. Here's your chance to come on back. You can do it safely, and what a difference it will make. And it's a little bittersweet for me today because it was exactly a year ago that we closed down the schools. Most of them were already closed, but we made that formal, Chris. And we thought it was going to be for a couple of weeks. Well, it was for a lot more than a couple of weeks. But Sean, as you pointed out, at that point, we also started thinking about opening up our schools and how do we reopen and how do we reopen safely. We started by doing that remotely. Then we started having hybrid, and Windsor Locks has been a leader. I mean, you've been open for in-person learning since the very beginning, and every day more students are coming back, for which I'm so appreciative. And, you know, Charlene and I are working a little bit on some of the federal support we have for education that's coming in right now. So I would urge the superintendent and the mayor and the students and the teachers, think creatively about how we put this money to work. I mean, you've got a lot of friends who maybe haven't been in the classroom for a long time. And I want to think about what we do in terms of not starting school up again in September, but starting some sort of a learning experience this July and August. And principal, make it fun. Let's make it, you know, these kids have been sort of alone for a long time, at least a lot of them have. We want to make sure that they're ready for learning in September. And that starts with some amazing programs, and we got the ability to help support it and fund it, not just for a year, but for a couple of years. So let's really think creatively about how we make the best out of this situation. But, you know, today I wouldn't be anywhere but the ship. I really appreciate the incredible pride and effort you've put in. And thanks, students. I appreciated the tour. Does anybody have any questions for the mayor? Oh, that's right.
That you were looking to see today, or what did you see that kind of stood out to you?
2 things I was looking to see. One is I referenced just are they taking how serious it is to keep people safe and give them a feeling that you are safe. And I really wanted to see the enthusiasm of the teachers and students because that's it's been a long time, and I felt that everywhere I went. You know, and even some of the you know, Zoom teaching that was going on. It was sort of interesting, the interchange back and forth, and you saw people writing, you know, answering something, and the teacher could see it on script. I thought it was fascinating.
You talked about federal support. Can you talk about what that looks like on the federal system?
Yeah, I mean, the federal assistance on education has been an enormous priority. They gave us some funding, which I think you're putting to work now through the end of the year. I think there's another something like $2.4 million for Windsor Locks and a lot more for that across the state. And I just want to make sure it's not like peanut butter spread across 169 towns. I really hope that our schools and Charlene, State Department of Education, we work with all the superintendents and principals to make some really key investments so we're a lot stronger and better for this.
Governor, there's going to be a rally shortly at the state capitol of parents who oppose any repeal of a religious exemption to require school vaccinations. Could you tell us what your position is on that question?
There's a rally about opposed to vaccinations and a religious exemption. I'll tell you, Paul, right now, I got more people who want to get vaccinated than I have vaccines. And I'm working as a real priority to make sure all of our educators and teachers can get vaccinated. And I don't want to do anything to confuse that message, that right now we're getting more and more vaccine. The most important thing you can do for your school, for the ship, eventually for your fellow students, certainly for your fellow teachers, is to get vaccinated. And we'll figure out what the protest is all about a little bit later.
Seriously, though, have you taken a position in the past that you supported the repeal of the religious
I do. I think there's nothing more important to public health than getting people vaccinated. And I think the more people that are vaccinated, the better and the safer it is for your schools. So I do. And I think it was, look, you can get a medical exemption, Paul, as you know, and I think that's fair and right. But I think sometimes the religious exemption was being abused, or at least it was a trend that made me nervous that more and more people were taking it, and that was not safe for the kids here at the ship.
Wondering if the Department of Ed has any thoughts on what summer camps might look like yet, or how they might vary?
Charlene, you want to rub with that?
So the question is about summer camp, which is really authorized by the Office of Early Childhood. So right now we're working very closely with OEC and the department to think about how do we leverage funding and so that we can have as many students, of course, participating in summer camps as possible.
So it's fair to say looking forward to in-person active camps this summer.
That's correct. Right. With all the mitigation strategies that we continue to talk about, there's a suite of mitigation strategies around distancing, right, around hand protocol and hand hygiene, and also around mask wearing. So those are still things that we're considering that those should not go away. A great question that we're still examining what that would look like. There are certainly families who are looking to be able to do that. We also recognize the challenge for school staff and teachers trying to do it in a dual manner. So we're really having to investigate what that would look like.
No, I hope everybody gets back to school. I'd like them to get back to school next week, and I'd like them certainly to get back to school in the fall, but there may be some folks that don't feel ready. Maybe they're a compromised immune system. Maybe there are a variety of reasons where they can't. So I think there will be some virtual learning that continues. And don't you agree? I mean, I think virtual learning is going to be a part of our school for the rest of time. I mean, I think it's the one way that you can continue teaching. And sorry about your snow days, because they could include a little virtual learning.
What about you're talking about finding enrichment over the summer. Where's that money going to come from? Where are we standing? Are you planning programs now?
Yeah, we're planning programs right now. We're going to have a plan. We're going to be working with the Department of Education. And again, I hope it's led by superintendents and principals and teachers in terms of what we can do. But we have a fair amount of funding to make sure that these kids get back in the game, especially those that haven't been able to get back to school for some months. That's going to include some social counselors. That can include some fun learning. That can include museums. That's going to include summer camps, hopefully of no charge to people who can't afford it. Make sure that's widely available. A little bit of learning and a lot of fun. Oh, good.
Yeah, great question, and very timely. I just put a communication out. Last week, we met with our leadership team and started talking about summer programming. And as you mentioned, as the governor mentioned, we have funding coming for summer programming. So that funding will be put to good use. But before we got deep into planning, we felt as a leadership team it was very, very important that we gauge the interest of our families. And primarily for two reasons. One is we could develop the most robust, most intense, fun summer program and have no one participate. That would just be kind of a lost cause, so to speak. So before we got too far in the planning, we want to survey our families to see what the interest and availability is. We know that families need a break. We know that our staff needs a break. So that's where we are at this point. I do anticipate in the next couple weeks really ramping up the planning of that, depending on the results of that survey. That survey is due back a week from today, actually. Yes, it will do two things. It will address learning loss, as well as address social emotional needs of our students. So when we talk about fun programming, it may be theme-based, it could be a STEM activity. Last summer, we utilized Go Boxes, where we gave kind of a variety of projects that families could take home and do, and then check back in with our teachers midway through the summer. So I think it can be any and all of those above, but I think it has to address both the academic loss as well as the social emotional needs of our students and families. $2.4 million. That's education. The town is another 1.2. Just for education, yes. So I do want to wrap up because I know the governor has to be other places. So thank you. Again, thank you to our students. Thank you to our teachers who were here. Thank you to our board members, our administrators. And I'm glad that we were able to showcase all the great work that's being done here in Windsor Locks. Thank you.